Alabama, Oak Top, Mississippi, Possum Point, Georgia, Miami.
Who's Amy?
Miami.
Hey, you mean your Amy?
Bo Hunkers.
Bo Hookers?
Bo Hunkers.
Bo Hunkers?
Oh, I beg your pardon. Hoboken.
Hoboken. Oh, well, Mr. Conductor, I want to go to Hot Town.
Hot Town?
Yes, sir.
That's the last stop.
Last-
All aboard.
All right, sir.
Greetings and felicitations. Nice, see what I did there? Welcome, it's another stream of Crime and Punishment. We're gonna hop right into it. Oop.
Greed 1914 said person turquoise waving.
Oh, person turquoise waving to you too, Greed. It's good seeing you. Happy holidays. And yeah, we haven't played Crime and Punishment in a little while, so I figured let's get to it. We can always have a bit of fun going on with this. It's an open VC, and what that means is I've got a private Discord channel, which I have for some people I know, and being the holidays, I've invited them. Hey, if you have time, if you want, come on, join in, have some fun. Whether anyone shows up or not, that's up to them. But until then, I think all of us can play some Crime and Punishment. Well, let's get to it. This is Crime and Punishment. It's a game. It's an interactive game, and I highly encourage everyone who's watching to join in, play along, submit your sentence and length of sentence once you hear the details of these crimes. And let's get to it. Court is now in session. Your rating will be affected by how much and what kind of information you choose. And we've got a boring one. It's a boring one right here off the hop. God, why is this so boring? The crime is
Tethercat said crime, attempted assassination.
Now it's interesting because the past couple days, or the past couple of times I've tried throwing that in, that phrase has been eaten by, I think, the algorithm of one of the programs on my computer, which is why I allowed ChatRat to say it aloud. Anyway, that's not going to stop us. You all know what it's about. It's attempted assassination. So let's pitter patter. Let's get at her. Let's find out what's going on. Let's have some fun. The details of this crime. In the crime of attempted assassination, let's take a look at the demographics. The offender is a 52-year-old black male. The victim was a 61-year-old black male. The offender-victim relationship, they were family members. He attempted to assassinate his family member. Happy holidays, everybody. How are all of your holiday celebrations and festivities? Did you enjoy sitting around the holiday table with your family members? Did perhaps potentially unsavory topics come up for discussion and you thought, man, I could be literally doing anything right now, like hiring a hitman? Okay. The crime is attempted assassination. The offender and the victim were family members. How old were they? 52 and 61. The weapon used physical injury. The victim is only slightly injured. Probably took the carving fork, stuck it in his hand or something. Property damage or loss, $600. Definitely a carving fork incident. And the excuse given for this crime, the offender said the devil made him do it. Hey, everybody, how was your holidays? How did you enjoy sitting around your holiday table with your family members? Did the devil speak to you? All right, let's take a look at the offender's criminal record. I love this case. And we're going to take a look at the adult prior crime types for this. I think it was 57-year-old, 51-year-old, 50-year-old. And those crimes include traffic offenses. Hey, everyone, you ever sat in traffic and thought the devil's going to make me do this? Prior arrests and convictions, 4 and 4. And the fugitive status on the day of the crime is that the offender is a bail jumper. Devil probably told him to do that too. I think we're going to look at the offender's reputation. And this individual is also known as the mechanic. So perhaps it wasn't a carving fork that was the tool of destruction. Maybe it was a spanner. Maybe it was a 3 1/4 wrench. I don't know. Let's take a look at the pre-sentence report. I love this case. And we're going to take a look at the personal details. Well, before that, I keep forgetting. How old is this guy? He's, what, 57? He's 52. Okay. So the pre-sentence report for this, the personal details for this 52-year-old, 52 like a stack of cards. The offender is married by common law, drinks a lot of tea, and has a correspondence school degree. And the employment history of this person is that the offender teaches karate. Ooh. Perhaps the modus operandi of attempted assassination was a karate chop at the kitchen table. The courtroom prosecution details. Evidence showed that the defendant was easily led by his friends. How would that even happen? The defendant was defended by a legal aid attorney. So the friends were saying, hey, are you going to go and have holiday festivities with your family? I'll tell you what, if anyone brings up anything unsavory at the holiday table, karate chop them in the neck for $600. And the defendant said, yes, that is a good idea. Thanks, devil friends. Oh, the devil friends. All right, let's take a look. Do we need to look at the offender's upbringing or mental history? Because the defendant's devil friends told him to karate chop someone a family member in the neck. I think we should look at the mental history. The offender is excessively introverted. Those are definitely devil karate chop friends. I also want to look at the offender's upbringing. Because it was a family member that he was trying to assassinate, I think that the offender's upbringing is a relevant point to this case. So let's take a look. The offender's father beat his mother and the offender was born on a yacht. All right, well, I mean, it's background. I don't know that that really sways anything. With all of this said and done, let's take a look at the clipboard of justice. And the crime is attempted assassination. Remember, everybody, now is your opportunity to type into chat a sentence and a length of sentence for this crime. In the crime of attempted assassination, the property damage or loss was $600.
Minimi96 said, "Hi Tethercat, how are you?"
I'm doing quite well. I'm doing better than quite well. I'm doing more than well. I'm doing quite awesome. And thank you for asking there, Minimi. How are you doing? In the crime of attempted assassination, the property damage or loss was $600. The offender and the victim were family members. The victim was only slightly injured. The offender is a 52-year-old male. The victim was a 61-year-old male. The offender said the devil made him do it. The offender is a bail jumper. The offender is also known as the mechanic.
Minimi96 said, "Doing okay, thanks."
Excellent. Prior crimes include traffic offenses. The offender has had 4 recorded prior arrests and 4 recorded prior convictions. Evidence showed that the defendant was easily led by his friends. The defendant was defended by a legal aid attorney. The offender's father beat his mother and the offender was born on a yacht. The offender is excessively introverted. The offender is married by common law, drinks a lot of tea, and has a correspondence school degree. Also, the offender teaches karate. And that's the crime of attempted assassination. Once again, if you have anything you'd like to contribute for a sentence or a length of sentence, now is your opportunity. I encourage audience participation. Now then, with all of that said, the 3 choices here are prison, jail, and probation. Given that it's attempted assassination, I don't think probation is on the cards. I would like it to be. It seems like a relatively silly crime of not much under our constructed narrative. Oh, hold on a sec. I gotta sneeze. Don't you hate it when you have to sneeze and you can't sneeze? Anyway, I'll sneeze later. I ain't got time to sneeze, said Jesse the Judge Cadventura. Because it is attempted assassination, because it's attempted assassination, I think that probation is out of the option list. And I honestly can't see jail. It's got to be prison. I mean, it's attempted assassination. They got the guy for that. So I'm going to suggest prison. However, it was $600 in damages. It didn't really manifest. I mean, maybe it did. It said that the defendant was a 61-year-old male, so maybe it did manifest. But anyway, it's an attempt. It's an assassination. I don't know. I want to go light because of the constructed narrative of the holiday dinner that we've done. However, I don't know. I think that we got to be serious about this, and it is a serious crime. Attempted assassination. I would be giving it a low sentence, but that low sentence would be 7.5 years. I would say 7.5 years. I mean, I would say 5 years, but honestly, I think this green guy is going to go 10 years minimum. Since we're doing minimums, I'm willing to meet halfway at 7.5. So that's my judgment. I'm going 7.5 years. That's my rationale. And with that said, everyone else, please put your answers on the back of a napkin, and let's take a look at how we scored. I knew it.
Minimi96 said prison, between 10 to 15. Because it's attempted.
Well, Mini-Me, you're closer than me, and you got a lot more gavels than I did. So congratulations, jury foreman Mini-Me. You're a much better player than I am. 11 years, 7 months. And let's take a look at how many gavels we got. Well, I got 5 gavels, and that can only mean that jury foreman Mini-Me got more than 5 gavels. Congratulations, jury foreman Mini-Me, and for everyone else who's playing along. Pardon me while I type this all in.
Tethercat said gavels, 5, judicial IQ, 98.
Well, that's an excellent start to today's ceremonies. And now I think it's time for our next case. If everyone is on board with that, I'm on board with that. Now it's time for our next case. Remember, it is how much and what kind of information that is important. The defendant is to be sentenced for the crime of false advertising.
Tethercat said crime, false advertising.
Now let's take a look at the details of this crime. I guess, you know what? No, let's do this and then we'll get into the socialities in it and say, hey, how is everyone's... But we'll do this crime first. Let's do this crime first, then we'll get into the social aspect. Let's take a look at the demographics. The offender is a 43-year-old white Mormon male. The victims are the state and the people. The offender-victim relationship. The offender didn't think anyone would be hurt through false advertising. The weapon used physical injury was none. The property damage or loss was none. And the excuse given for this crime? Well, the offender pleads innocence. Said he didn't do it. Once again, I'm totally having a memory lapse at how old these people are. 43-year-old. He's a 43-year-old male. Let's take a look at the offender's criminal record. And we're going to look at the adult prior crime types. Specific crime type of information is unavailable in this case. For prior arrests and convictions, he has had 3 recorded prior arrests and no convictions. His fugitive status on the day of the crime is that Arizona wants him. Arizona. Maybe they want him as a spokesman for some iced tea. Wouldn't that be nice? Do we need to look at the offender's reputation? I believe so. The offender is also known as the Doc. The crime is false advertising. He didn't think anyone would be hurt. And he's known as the Doc. Hopefully his false advertising wasn't for healing people. That would be bad. Let's take a look at the pre-sentence report, where we'll find out more about this 43-year-old's personal details. The offender is unwed. He drinks socially, and he is an expellee from boarding school. His employment history is that he's a sex therapist. The Doc. The courtroom process, false advertising. I can heal you, says the Doc. The courtroom prosecution details the defendant still claims he's innocent from false advertising. The press was excluded from the courtroom. Do we need to look at the offender's upbringing or mental history? I don't think so. And with that said, I think we should review the clipboard of justice. In the crime of false advertising, there was no monetary loss. The offender didn't think anyone would be hurt. There was no personal injury. The offender is a 43-year-old male. The victims are the state and the people. The offender said he didn't do it. Arizona wants him. The offender is also known as the Doc. Although specific crime type of information is unavailable, the defendant has had 3 recorded prior arrests, but no recorded prior convictions. The defendant still claims his innocence. The press was excluded from the courtroom. The offender is unwed, drinks socially, and is an expellee from boarding school. As well, the offender is a sex therapist. And there you go. That is our crime of false advertising. Well, now, I'm curious about this one. I don't know if he's innocent or not. I mean, clearly he's here before the court. They caught him. They provided enough evidence to put him in front of myself and possibly the jury. So, you know, it was false advertising. He pleads innocence, but we got him. But no one was hurt, and nothing happened. So I'm willing to go on a bit of a slap on the wrist for this one. I don't think false advertising is federal or even on the state level. You can say, hey, Craigslist, I'm selling a shiny new bike, and it might not be shiny or new. Is that false advertising? Yes. Is it really a federal prison-worthy crime? No. Let's go probation for this person. And I'm gonna say, I mean, he's known as the doc, and he is a sex therapist, so he has a reputation to uphold. I think that just saying 2 years of probation, check in and say, hey, have you done any false advertising? And he'll hopefully say no. Ideally, he'll continue to plead innocence. And hopefully reprimand, repair and make better his ways. 2 years probation. 6 years, 2 months. Well, that's a lot of false advertising, that one is. That's a little heavy-handed from the judge. But that's why we are not a green 1984 idiot like Judge Wapner. I apologize to anyone who is Judge Wapner watching in the audience. Let's take a look at our scoring. Well,
Tethercat said gavels, 4, judicial IQ, 85.
Now is an excellent time for a hydration check, and then we'll get into talking about our socialities over the holidays. Everybody, hydration check.
Tethercat said hydration check.
So yes, how were your holidays, everyone? I had several obligations and celebrations over the past week. And you know what? I enjoyed the company of
Minimi96
others.
said I don't know what to put, but I know it had to be more than that if I was wrong cause he's a therapist.
Yeah. Yeah.
Minimi96 said it was good thanks.
I'm glad to hear that. Well, there's a familiar face. It's Bailiff Stormy. It's just popped into the chat. Bailiff Stormy, welcome aboard the stream. Hello and hello indeed. Let me just make sure I have you in audio. Could you be so kind as to say a few words to the audience listening in? Doesn't seem to be picking you up.
Minimi96 said hello Stormy, how are you?
I hope your holidays were good.
Oh, hold on a moment. I got you in there. All right. Let's say hello to everyone. Okay. That'll do. I've got you in there. Mini-Me says, hello, Stormy. How are you doing? And we're actually at the point where we are speaking about how everyone's holidays are, so that's a very relevant question. I was informing chat, which just happens to be Mini-Me as well as anyone else who's watching, that my holidays were filled with good times when I was surrounded by good people. I don't... Well, sometimes for people who struggle to get through this holiday season, or any holiday season for that matter, sometimes just finding a happy place is more than enough. So, with that said, how was your holiday? Did you have a good holiday week up to now, considering that tomorrow is the end of the year? So quickly. Well, I love how you said that.
Minimi96 said, is it okay if we still can't hear her?
Oh. My apologies.
A good holiday. It was spent with good friends.
Excellent. That's fantastic, and I'm glad to hear that.
And one of them was you.
That's true. I actually did have a good holiday, and I know that you and I had sat in on a chat once or twice through that time period as well, so it was very pleasant.
Yes, it was.
I believe I fixed the audio issue there, Mini-Me, so you should be able to hear her now. And with that said, I did put out an invite call to several people. I don't know if anyone's going to show up. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. But shall we continue?
Yes, we shall. We shall.
Excellent. We're ready.
Justice never sleeps.
Justice never sleeps. I think we all do, but...
Minimi96 said loud and clear.
Fantastic. All right. It sounds like all of us are on board. Now it's time for our next case. Remember, it is how much and what kind of information that is important. The defendant is to be sentenced for the crime of assassination. And I'm just going to make sure I have...
25 years.
Sorry, I didn't quite catch what you said there. What'd you say?
25 years.
I actually want to look at this case. As much as amusing as your blind darts are, I would like to actually look at this case. So I'll put your 25 down on a napkin.
On a cocktail napkin.
Put it on a cocktail napkin.
25 years.
25 years. Stormy says 25 years. All right, everyone. The crime is assassination.
Tethercat said crime, assassination.
Now, we had attempted assassination earlier, and we went through the normal process. As a reminder to anyone watching, the house rules state that in actual cases of death, such as this one, we look at all of the facts. We don't shy away from any of them. Everything is relevant, and we do not issue the death penalty. With that said, let's get into it. The details of this crime. And we're going to look at the demographics. The offender is a 25-year-old Hispanic Catholic male. The victim was a 40-year-old white woman. The offender-victim relationship, they were neighbors. The weapon used and physical injury, the victim died in a booby-trapped car. Stormy, you took the words out of my mouth. I just wanted to point out that the word booby has come up for the first time tonight. And let's just leave it at that. The The victim died in a booby-trapped car. So the 25-year-old neighbor booby-trapped his 40-year-old neighbor. It's going to be an interesting crime. The property damage or loss was $1.5 million.
Oh my goodness.
That's an
Must have been a Bugatti.
That's what I was going to say, is it was an expensive car. Or an expensive boob job. Wah, wah. I don't know, can people insure their boobs? All right, I'm getting away from the topic here.
Yes, they can.
Thank you for that insight, Stormy. Let's look at the excuse given for the reason this 25-year-old booby-trapped his neighbor's car. He said he wanted to impress a movie star. How? Why? Who cares? I wonder if he succeeded. We'll never know. I think we should look at the offender's criminal record.
Minimi 96 said enhanced.
Enhanced. $1.5 million enhanced. Mini-Me knows what's going on. Jury foreman Mini-Me knows what's going on. Let's take a look at the adult prior crime types for this 25-year-old. Specific crime type of information is unavailable. Prior arrests and convictions were none. He's relatively clean. His fugitive status on the day of the crime is that he left an alcohol detoxification program. The offender's reputation is that he is active in politics. And because it's the crime of assassination, we do look at all elements of the case, including the juvenile court blotter. This 25-year-old man, as a juvenile, offense.
Minimi 96 said all for research purposes.
Absolutely, it's for research purposes. Jury foreman Minimi is having just as much fun with this case as we are. So, let's take a look at... What are your thoughts on this case, by the way? What are your thoughts on this case so far, Bailiff Stormy?
25 years.
Still on that, are you? Fair enough. I love it. That's fair. You just keep that cocktail napkin close to your chest, and we're going to run through the rest of these. The
booby-trapped car for 25 years.
There you go. You don't see that too often on Jeopardy. That's why this is the best game ever.
Yes.
Let's take a look at the pre-sentence report. And we're going to look at the personal details of this 25-year-old man. The offender is unmarried. He is often drunk, and he is a vocational school graduate. His employment history is that he is chronically unemployed. Spends time obsessing over movie stars, and his neighbor politically, for that matter. The courtroom prosecution details are that the defendant gave up his Confederates, and a state commission investigates
Minimi
the
96 said the
corruption.
assassination is that expensive. Come on.
Yeah, that's true. $1.5 million assassination. Yeah, I agree with Mini-Me. And now... Sorry, I had to do something there. And now, let's take a look at the... we're going to look at the offender's upbringing, and we're going to look at the mental history. The defendant gave up his Confederate, so he gave up who helped him out with this one. The offender's upbringing is that the offender was an abused child and was raised on a ranch in California. His mental history is that he's addicted to television. He's out of touch with reality. Well, this explains the movie star aspect.
I was just going to say, that explains the movie star.
Yep, and he's out of touch with reality. He probably has not touched reality with his two hands in an intimate setting, ever. If you catch my booby-trapped car drift. Sorry, that was a reference to him being unable to touch boobs. Yay, assassination! Or ass, for that matter, twice. With that said, everybody...
Assassination?
Yes, assassination. And now, everyone, we're going to come to the fun part of the program where we get to throw down our cocktail napkins and say what we're going to guess. Jury foreman Mini-Me, please, by all means, contribute as well as we review the clipboard of justice. In the crime of assassination, the property damage or loss was $1.5 million. The offender and the victim were neighbors. The victim died in a booby-trapped car. The offender is a 25-year-old Hispanic Catholic male. The victim was a 40-year-old white woman. The offender said he wanted to impress a movie star. The offender left an alcohol detoxification program. The offender is active in politics. Although specific crime type of information is unavailable, the offender has had no recorded arrests and no recorded prior convictions. The offender's juvenile offenses include truancy. The defendant gave up his Confederates. A state commission investigates you, the player, for corruption. The offender was an abused child and was raised in a ranch in California. The offender is addicted to television. He's out of touch with reality. The offender is unmarried, is often drunk, and is a vocational school graduate. The offender is chronically unemployed. And there we have it. Do we want the death penalty? The answer is no. And let's hear Bailiff Stormy. What are your thoughts on this case?
Minimi 96 said there's a pair of targets in this case, not just one. Why do you think it's called assassination?
Assassination. Yes, that is a valid point there, Jury Foreman Mini-Me. Thank you for that contribution. Sorry, I cut you off there, Bailiff Stormy. What are your thoughts?
I would give him 28 years.
28 years of prison. Now, you said 25 on your cocktail napkin. Why did you bump that up to 28, if you don't mind my asking?
The movie star and being out of touch with reality.
Okay. That's fair. I would actually go a little higher. I would actually go at least 30, maybe even 32, but at least 30. And I think that given that it was $1.5 million and he didn't exactly express remorse, he said he did it for publicity. That's brazen. That's flagrant. That defies any empathy which the court could impose upon him. So I'd actually be willing to go up to 32 years, but I think 30 years would be a good common ground between 28 and 32. What are your thoughts on haggling from 28 years?
I think 30 would be a good middle ground.
Then let's go 30 years as a middle ground for 30 years of prison time for this assassination. Jury Foreman Mini-Me, as always, we are welcome to the suggestions which you have, especially tonight when you're clearly doing better than I am. So I'm quite happy to hear from Jury Foreman Mini-Me on what this could possibly be. In the meantime, we can continue making all the more jokes that we can think of. I can't think of any, so I think we've already hit the quota.
The booby trap.
Yeah.
Minimi 96 said between 25 to 30 or more.
Excellent. All of us seem to be landing on roughly around the same point, and 30 seems to be the common ground. Let's take a look at our score, everybody. We got us a symmetrical duck award. Yay! You know what? I'm not going to play that music. The music is great. I love that music. But we're not going to play that music. So we'll just look at the duck for a little bit. Everybody.
Minimi 96 said my message didn't went through early for some reason.
Well, we got it now, and that's all that matters. Yay! Yeah. Good job, everybody. And let's take a look at... And by the way, with 25 years and 3 months, both of you were closer than me. Both Bailiff Stormy and Jury Foreman Mini-Me were much closer than I was, so kudos to both of you. Let's take a look at our score. There we go, we got 9 gavels. Have you ever considered a career on the bench?
Still wanted the kangaroo one, but
Tethercat said gavels, 9, judicial IQ, 114.
Well, you still might get the kangaroo court. I don't know how or why, but we still might. That was great. Congratulations, everyone. We got our first Symmetrical Duck Award of the night and possibly our last of the year. I hope not. Is everyone ready for the next case? How's your brain doing? Did you cleanse your brain of all the booby-trapped cars and associated puns from that last one? Was that a cleansing?
no.
No.
Yeah.
If it comes up again, it's going to come up again. That's great. Good to know. Thanks, Bailiff Story.
Oh, yeah.
Secretly, I'm in the same boat.
Minimi96 said we will have the Animal Planet version soon.
Oh, good. Can't wait for that. Can't wait for that Animal Planet version to show up. Thanks, Jury Farm and Mini-Me. All right, everyone. Let's pop into the next case. Remember, it is how much and what kind of information that is important. And the defendant is to be sentenced for the crime of cat burglary.
Oh. Ooh.
Minimi96 said we will never escape debauchery.
We will never escape debauchery. And meow.
Tethercat said crime, cat burglary.
As Bailiff Kate is absolutely happy to continue to announce, she will never see this crime of cat burglary without thinking it's the crime of actually stealing cats. Thank you.
That's what I thought, too.
Thank you, Bailiff Otter Kate. We hope you can join us in the near future. All right, let's look at the details of this crime. And we're going to look at the demographics. The offender is an 18-year-old white Catholic male. The victim was a 24-year-old white Catholic male. Because the victim is 18, we will be looking at the demographics for juvenile offenders, because we don't know if this 18-year-old is 18-year-old in 1 day or 18-year-old in 364 days. And that does play heavily into the sentencing. The offender is an 18-year-old white male. The victim was a 24-year-old male. The offender-victim relationship, they were strangers. The weapon used in physical injury, there was none. And the property damage or loss in this crime of cat burglary was $1.1 million.
That's some good cat scratch.
Yeah, this 18-year-old kid sure got some good cat scratch. The excuse given for this crime of cat burglary was bleep. Meow. No. The excuse given for this crime said he needed money for a friend's sex change operation. This game took place in 1984. That was a lot of money.
He needed it right meow.
Right meow. Yo. See, everybody, on a dime, we've flipped from booby-trapped cars over to cat burglary. That's how we roll. And now let's take a look at the offender's criminal record in this crime of cat burglary. And we're going to look at the adult prior crime types. Remember, this gentleman, he is 18 years old. Specific crime type of information is unavailable for his past crimes as an adult. His prior arrests and convictions as an adult are none. Interesting. We are definitely going to look at the juvenile court blotter. The juvenile offenses include computer hacking. Huh. That's an interesting aspect. Cat burglary for $1.1 million, I think it was. and computer hacking. The fugitive status on the day of the crime, he has no detainers. This guy's relatively clean, all things considered, and the offender's reputation is that he's sexually aberrant. Whatever that means in 1984 time, it does relate into his wanting to fund his friend's sex change operation for $1.1 million. Any thoughts so far on this case, Bailiff Stormy?
No. Sorry.
Okay. Let's take a look at the pre-sentence report. And we're going to look at personal details. This 18-year-old man is separated. He's separated. He's only 18. He's separated. He drinks coffee excessively, and he is a high school dropout. That's a shame, because if he's been known for computer hacking in 1984, he's got somewhat of an intellect behind him. His employment history is that he does have a steady job. The courtroom prosecution detail, you know what? Possibly he dropped out of high school because he has a steady job at age 18 as a computer specialist, enough so that he could somehow manipulate $1.1 million in cat burglary. Maybe. I don't know. That's a narrative. The courtroom prosecution details are that the defendant was definitely convicted by a jury. They're not even close. He was convicted by a jury. Newspapers call for action. Now, do we need to look at the offender's upbringing or mental history in this case? Bailiff Stormy, I leave it to you. What do you think?
Mental history.
Then we shall look at the offender's mental history. The offender is mildly anxious. He bites his fingernails until they bleed. Poor guy. And I'm curious about offender's upbringing. I don't know that it would... Yeah?
He's only 18.
Yeah. All right, let's take a look. The offender's upbringing is that the offender was a bastard child and was born on a farm. So in this narrative, he was born on a farm and...
Bastard.
What's that?
Oh, the Simpsons Bastard song.
I have not heard the Simpsons Bastard song. Unless you're talking about season 1 or 2 with Bart. Yeah, you are, aren't you? You're going way back on that one.
Yes, I am.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay, I've got a recollect from 30 years ago of that song. So if this is the narrative and this kid, this 18-year-old, was super smart enough to be a computer hacker, and he was born and raised on a farm where he was a bastard child, I could totally see him getting out, dropping out of high school, finding a steady job, and doing cat burglary for $1.1 million against a stranger. I can see that actually as a narrative. With that said, shall we review the known facts?
Oh, yes, please.
And at your behest, milady, in the crime of cat burglary. And once again, everyone who's watching along, this is your opportunity to pitch in with a sentence and a length of sentence. The property damage or loss was $1.1 million. The offender and the victim were strangers. There was no personal injury. The offender is an 18-year-old male. The victim was a 24-year-old male. The offender said he needed money for a friend's sex change operation. The offender has no detainers. The offender is sexually aberrant. Specific crime type of information is unavailable. The offender's juvenile offenses include computer hacking, but the offender as an adult has had no recorded prior arrests or convictions. The defendant was convicted by a jury. Newspapers call for action. The offender was a bastard child and was born on a farm. The offender is mildly anxious. He bites his fingernails until they bleed. The offender is separated, drinks coffee excessively, is a high school dropout, and the offender has a steady job. And that there.
Podasi Mosi Bien said MFG hi.
Well, greetings and felicitations, Podos and Mosi Bien. We are just getting to the end of this case. And by all means, if you've been watching along as we reviewed the clipboard of justice, now would be an opportunity to enter in a sentence and a length of sentence. I'm going to start this one off. I really want to do probation on this. I really do. I want to do probation because I think that this young man has been led down who has a relatively clean record, I might add, has just been led down a wrong path. And I believe that he can be reformed. I think rehabilitation is definitely an option here. With that said, it was $1.1 million.
Yeah, but he's still a kid.
He's still a kid, but that was $1.1 million. I can't issue probation for $1.1 million. I cannot. I can't. I would love to. I want to, but I can't. I feel it's prison worthy. Hold on a sec.
Okay.
Yeah, let me fire through this and then I'll get back to you. I do think cat burglary is a federal crime, prison worthy. I think it is $1.1 million. So I think I would issue a prison sentence, and I do want to put 3 years, but which is the absolute most minimum I would go. But ideally and hopefully, he would be out on good behavior after a very short amount of time on that. I really do not want him to be in prison at all. But unfortunately, a jury convicted him. He did get caught for $1.1 million. So that's my reasoning. That's my sentence. Bailiff Stormy, what are your thoughts?
No, I think we need to go a little higher than 3 years.
Higher. Interesting. Bailiff Stormy.
Why don't we let him out when he was 25?
He's 18 years old now. He could be anywhere between 18 to 19, really, because we don't know how old he is. But at age 25, that'd be 6 years in prison. Roughly 5 or 6 years. So are you suggesting we bump it up from 3 years prison, which was an absolute minimum, which I would state, and hope he would get out on good behavior well before then, up to 6 years in prison?
Yes, I think so.
Well, let's follow your lead. Let's offer up 6 years of prison. Once again, we're willing to take any suggestions from chat. Anyone who's watching along, if you have a sentence or a length of sentence, we are more than receptive to listen to what you might say. Please play along. 6 years of prison, I think that's a little heavy-handed. I do. I'd be willing to haggle down to 5. Once again, I really think rehabilitation, and he shouldn't even be in prison, but he kind of has to be. I'd be willing to haggle down to 5 years. Would you be willing to haggle down to 5 years of prison time?
Yeah, I would.
Okay. I still want to go 3. I think you still want to go 6. I think 5 is a good compromise. And honestly, I really do want to give this guy, 5 years of probation, but we just can't. We just can't. I wonder if the judge would give this guy 5 years of probation. If so, that would just be not just a slap on the wrist, but like a fly swatter to the wrist. All right. If anyone's watching in chat, please write down your suggestion on a napkin. We're going to take a look at how we scored. 5 years of prison. Let's see how we did. Well, the game crashed. And what that means, everybody, is that's an honorary 10 gavels with a symmetrical duck award. And we get a small amount of sympathy, knowing that, as per house rules, we were correct in our assumption. So,
yay!
Yay! With that said, I'm going to reboot the game. This will take a little while, so we have opportunity to chat.
You fell into the booby trap.
We fell into the booby trap. Here's a hydration check, everybody. Hydration check.
Tethercat said hydration check. Minimi 96 said ya
Jury Foreman Mini-Me, correct in celebrating the crashing of a game. Well, we got Gavels, 10. Pardon me while I write this down.
Tethercat said Gavels, 10, Crash, Judicial IQ, Infinity +1.
Fantastic. Good job, everyone. Good job. One thing I was reticent in declaring as we were playing was that anytime that you see the flag of specific crime type of information is unavailable, that's a little bit of a red flag that the game could crash. And we had that for 3 cases in a row, I believe. So, although I didn't state it as such because I had my fingers crossed it wouldn't happen, it happened. Oh well. These things, you know, whatever. I should mute the game on your ends so that you're not blasted out the eardrums with horrible chiptune from 1984. I will suffer momentarily. Mail of Stormy, did you get anything for the holidays? Did you receive any gifts? Did you give any gifts? Did anything gift-worthy occur within your world?
Like June, I got a blender.
Hold on a sec. You got a blender from or in June? I'm not quite following. What?
No. June got her mom a blender.
Well, we don't know that per se. I was asking about you specifically. No one else.
No, I got one.
You got a blender from June.
No.
Okay, well, hold on a sec. Let me rephrase all of this, okay? Bale of Stormy, how was your holiday? Yours.
It was great. I got a blender for Christmas.
Excellent. That sounds good. Have you made anything with this blender that you got for Christmas?
Smoothies.
I asked you if you made anything with this blender you got for Christmas, and you said movies. Did you get Blender, the animation program, did you? Congratulations. No. You're now an animator.
Smoothies.
Smoothies. Not movies, smoothies. I'm with you. I am now playing ball in your ballpark.
Yes.
Fantastic. Movies. You're making movies with Blender. Great. I can't wait to see it in the theater. You're the next Pixar. Bale of Stormy is the next Pixar. All right, everyone.
Get it, blend.
All right, everyone. Court is now in session once again. Our rating will be affected by how much and what kind of information we so choose. And our crime upon reappearing is the crime of arson.
Tethercat said crime, arson.
And are you ready to hop back into the cases, Bale of Stormy?
Hey, give everyone a hot butt here, huh?
That's the plan. Let's take a look at the details of this crime. And we're going to look at the demographics for this case. The offender is a 44-year-old white Protestant woman. The victims are the state and the people. And the offender-victim relationship, the offender gave no thought to any of the victims. The crime is arson. The weapon-used physical injury was none. However, the property damage or loss was $1.2 million. We're getting a lot of high-costing cases this time around, aren't we? The excuse given for the...
It was the garage with the Bugatti.
It was a garage with a Bugatti, and we've just got a brand new bailiff showing up in the game here. Brand new bailiff. Bailiff Andy, would you care to say hi to everybody?
Hello. Hello, everybody.
Yay, it's Bailiff Andy joining us for today's game. We just started, so I'm willing to go back to the start, and it's the crime of arson.
Good start. Good start to start off on.
Excellent.
I'm stupid right now because I've been sick for a week.
Oh, no. Well,
yeah.
Don't worry, we're stupid permanently, so you're in great company. What we're going to do is we're going to run through this case, and then after the case is done, then we'll get back to the pleasantries and ask you how you're doing, just so we don't interrupt the flow of the case.
Sounds good.
Fantastic. We're going to take a look at the crime of arson, and the details are such. The demographics. The offender is a 44-year-old white Protestant woman. The victims are the state and the people. The offender-victim relationship. The offender gave no thought to any of the victims. The weapon used physical injury. There was none. And the property damage or loss was $1.2 million of arson. The excuse given for this crime. The offender said the reason was political. The offender said the reason was political. This 44-year-old woman got political. Playing with fire. Any thoughts, Bailiff Stormy? Any thoughts, Bailiff Andy, on your on what's going on?
Relatable.
Relatable. Once again, once the case is concluded, we'll ask you how your holidays have been. So let's just tuck that under your hat for a moment. And with that said, we're going to look at the offender's criminal record. The adult prior crime types for this 44-year-old woman include bad checks. The prior arrests and convictions, 1 recorded prior arrest and 1 recorded prior conviction. The fugitive status on the day of the crime. I guess that 1 recorded prior conviction and arrest was for the bad checks, wasn't it? The fugitive status on the day of the crime was that the offender left a drug detoxification program.
Minimi 96 said these cases are getting more expensive now. We better get paid well for this. We don't work for free.
Well said, jury foreman Mini-Me. Well said. The jury and the jury foreman get paid per case, and I think you're going to be paid very well for this. Your check's in the mail. I'm sending it out with this lady. The offender's reputation. The offender is a regular church goer. How saintly. Does anyone care to see the juvenile court blotter of this 44-year-old woman?
No, thank you.
I would agree with that. Let's take a look at the pre-sentence report. And we're going to look at the personal details for this 44-year-old woman. She is single. She doesn't use drugs, even though she left a drug detoxification program on the day of the crime. She doesn't use drugs. And she is a criminal justice major. Huh. You'd think she'd know. And perhaps she does. Her employment history is that she can't hold down a job. You'd think that being a criminal justice major at age 44, she could. Maybe she's too busy committing arson. The courtroom prosecution details. The defendant threatens a prosecution witness. Oh, that's not good. And a mayoral candidate calls this a test case for the system. Bailiff Andy, Bailiff Stormy, would either of you like to see the offender's upbringing or mental history?
I'd like to see the mental history.
All right, mental history it is. The offender talks to her computer incessantly. I'm a blue cat.
I don't know if you can really consider that an illness at this point.
Well, remember this point, quote unquote, is 1984 as far as this Commodore 64 game goes.
She's talking to like a Commodore 64.
Yes, she is.
Something to that effect.
She's playing Eliza. That's an old 1984 era therapist simulation game that was derided because it was, let's face it, stupid. All right. We're not looking at the offender's upbringing, so are both of you, is anyone ready to read the clipboard of justice?
Yeah, I get to go.
Yes, please.
Sounds good. The crime is arson. The property damage or loss was $1.2 million. The offender gave no thought to any victims. There was no personal injury. The offender is a 44-year-old woman. The victims are the state and the people. I should add she's Protestant because that does play into it. The offender said the reason was political. The offender left a drug detoxification program on the day of the crime. The offender is a regular churchgoer. Prior crimes include bad checks, of which she has had one recorded prior arrest, which led to one recorded prior conviction. The defendant threatens a prosecution witness. A mayoral candidate calls this a test case for the system. The computer talks to her 1984 computer incessantly. The offender is single, doesn't use drugs, and is a criminal justice major. As well, the offender cannot hold down a job. That is the crime of arson. Bailiff Andy, you're the first to hop in on this game. Fresh eyes, fresh mind, week of sickness. I can't wait to see what your rationale is. What are you thinking for punishment and a length of sentence?
Oh, I really wish we knew what kind of building, like what kind of building she burnt down, or what she set fire to. That, because I have my suspicions.
Please share your suspicions.
Based on her, like, based on some of her background, I'm gonna guess that there's a possibility that this was like a Planned Parenthood sort of facility.
Ooh, okay.
I'm just conjecture there, like
if you would like,
it was an act of protest, right?
We can look at the offender's upbringing if you think that might be relevant to your narrative.
Yeah, let's go with that. Let's do that. I'm curious.
The offender had a happy home and was raised in a communist country.
Oh, wow, this woman contains multitudes.
Please continue. Would you like some time to think about it and we hop over to Bailiff Stormy?
Yeah.
Bailiff Stormy, the baton has been passed to you. Bailiff Stormy, what are your thoughts on this crime of arson as far as sentence and length of sentence?
Prison.
All right.
I would say 15 years.
We have an opening bid of 15 years of prison for arson. Do you have any rationale behind your observation?
The property damage.
$1.2 million.
Yes, that's quite a lot of money.
She said that she didn't think anyone would be hurt, and no one was hurt.
There was still property damage.
Yes, there was $1.2 million. I'm not arguing against you. I actually think that, personally, I think that 15 years of prison is relatively good. I would actually agree with 15 years of prison. Bailiff Andy, back to you. Not to derail your narrative, but what are your thoughts coming back on your end?
I'd be okay with prison because there was no personal injury. I would probably go shorter, like 10 years.
Okay. I agree with that. I'm willing to haggle down to 10. Bailiff Stormy, are you willing to go down to 10?
How about 12?
Once again, I'm very cool with 12, which is a halfway mark. Bailiff Andy?
Yeah, I can go with 12.
I love this. I feel like I'm calling at one of those auctioneer ranches. I do have a gavel.
13.
I do have a gavel. So, with that said, let's say that the haggling is commenced successfully, and 12 years of prison for arson is our call. Once again, if anyone is playing in the chat, this is your opportunity to write it down on a napkin, and we'll see how we scored. As soon as I can hit the right button. Well, kids, we got us another Symmetrical Duck Award. And once again, we're not going to play any of that music. But
Quack, 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 quack.
there you go.
I do like the animations, though.
I know, I love the animations as well.
This is the first time I've come into this and I'm like able to see, like, I can see the chat and I can see you and I can see like everybody else's icon.
Tethercat said Symmetrical Duck Award
pretty cool.
3.
And you're able to see Mini-Me, Jury Foreman Mini-Me chatting along up there as well, are you?
I can, yes.
Fantastic. With that out of the way, let's take a look at how we scored. Congratulations, everyone. We got 10 gavels. There's no judge you can't match. You should be the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court.
Thank
Did you say thank you?
you. Sure did.
Sure did.
Tethercat said gavels 10, judicial IQ 194.
That's excellent. That's almost a perfect score. That is just shy of a perfect score. I'm sure that if we actually had put down 12-5, we would have gotten a maximum of judicial IQ of 200. But I think we did great as is. Kudos to both of you for haggling successfully. And with that said, are you up for the next case? Who's up for another case?
I'm up for another case.
That's excellent. Oh, and we were going to say, how are you doing, Bailiff Andy? How was your holiday season? How were your festivities?
Pretty quiet this year. My parents came to visit, and I didn't get to see the kids this year, which was weird.
Aw.
But my parents came out for a bit, and the new Vo came out for a bit before that.
Oh, that's right. You've entered into a little bit of a romantic situation. Well, congratulations to you on that as well.
Thank you.
Bailiff Stormy, would you care to ever so briefly relive your past week as far as holidays go?
It was actually a really nice time. I had a great time with friends that were my family.
Aw, that's sweet.
That sounds nice.
That does sound nice.
How was your day yesterday?
Over the course of the past week, I celebrated the holidays and the festivities. I ate a frozen turkey dinner, and I cried in the shower with my clothes on. It was a standard holiday season for me. No, I fib, I lie. I had a great time. I've had a good holiday week. And actually, since I am single, since I do live alone, I did manage to go out on several occasions and have festive dinners with proceeds going to charity, which was very nice. Made me feel good. It made the charities feel good.
Glad to hear that.
Mm-hmm. And with that out of the way, is there anything the two of you would like to ask or talk about? Because we're ready for our next case.
I think I'm good.
Excellent. That being the case, let's look at the next case. Remember, it is how much and what kind of information that is important. The defendant... ugh. I'm just going to type this one out. Chat rat, would you do the honors? Chat rat. Chat rat is not doing the honors because, once again, I feel that there is something in the blockage that will not allow chat rat to state those words in that order. This is not the first time this has happened.
Huh.
Yeah.
Assassination of a high-powered person.
Assassination of the top level leader in the United States. There you go. If we're all cool with presidential assassination, cough, cough, let's take a look at the details of the crime. Remember, this game is from 1984. It's going to have some pretty interesting demographics. I've seen some crazy demographics. We're going off the fact that this guy is green. The game is from 1984. None of this makes sense. The U.S. flag is white with purple. So just kind of keep that in mind, this fantasy scenario. The demographics for presidential assassination. The offender is a 49-year-old Native American woman. The victim was a 56-year-old Native American male. Congratulations for being so progressive, 1984 alternate Earth America, with your green people and green judges. The offender-victim relationship, it's defined by the crime. The weapon used in physical injury. The victim was shot through the head. The property damage or loss was $85,000. It's funny, we've had so many high money cases. This is actually a pretty low money case, all things considered. And the excuse given for this crime, the offender said she did it for publicity. Any thoughts on the case so far, my two bailiffs? It's an interesting one.
It is progressive. The 1985 alternate universe apparently had a Native American president.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes.
Good for them.
Good for them.
Good for them.
Good for them, says the other Canadian in the chat. The offender said she did it for publicity. I just want to look at the demographics again. He was 56 years old. She is 49 years old. And she did it for publicity. All right. Let's take a look at the offender's criminal record. And we're going to look at adult prior crime types. This 49-year-old woman, her prior crimes include barroom brawls. That's impressive. Not even gonna lie, that's impressive.
Wow.
Yeah.
This game would make great prompts for like story writing.
I know, right? Why am I the only one playing this? Myself and Jun Kalmori on occasion. Why are we the only ones playing this game? This is an amazing game.
Like, I want to write these people's backstories.
Absolutely. The prior arrests and convictions for this 49-year-old woman whose prior crimes include barroom brawls. In her 49 years, she has had 12 recorded prior arrests and 6 recorded prior convictions. She is no stranger to the inside of a jail cell.
Evidently not.
The fugitive status on the day of the crime is that she's AWOL, absent without leave.
So that would imply that she's military.
It would. It would. What an interesting unfolding of facts we have going on here. Because it is assassination, we are going to look at all aspects of the case regardless. So let's take a look at the offender's reputation. The offender is a racist. Well, these things happen, I suppose. That's something to keep knowledge of. And we're going to go to the juvenile court blotter. This 49-year-old woman's youth had no crimes that she committed. Clean as a whistle, hits age 18, boom! Crime sprees. And we're going to look at the pre-sentence report. Do you have any thoughts on the case? Bailiff Stormy, Bailiff Andy, any thoughts on the case so far?
No, not for me.
All right.
They haven't said it outright, but I'm wondering if there's political undertone to it as well.
Well, it did state that the relationship was defined by the crime. So no one just goes to assassinate a president by mistake or thinking it's a traffic stop. It's defined by the crime. It's got to be political. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if it would be more of a general political thing or like I'm trying to draw attention to my own specific
No, that's a good point.
Story here.
In this case, she did do it for the publicity, so she was trying to draw attention to something, namely herself, but for some reason. All right, let's look at the pre-sentence report. And we're going to take a look at her personal details. 49 years old and she loves barroom brawls. The offender is unmarried. She drinks temperately. And she is a self-taught person. So she only goes into bars on occasion, not so much to drink, but definitely to scrap it up with knuckles. I
feel like she's a mean drunk, and maybe that's why she only drinks temperately.
She's like
when she does, she gets into bar brawls.
She's like Roger Rabbit, where she has a slug of whiskey and all of a sudden starts zipping around the room.
Yeah.
Well, let's take a look at employment history. She is a menial laborer. Well, if she can throw people around a bar room, she can definitely throw around some boxes in a warehouse. And we're going to take a look at the courtroom prosecution details. The defendant gave the police information on other serious crimes because she is knowledge on crime. A public pressure group calls you, the player, weak. And they aren't wrong. I got the spaghetti noodly arms. So they are absolutely correct. I fold like a wet napkin. We are definitely going to look at the offender's upbringing and mental history because it is assassination of the highest caliber. The offender's upbringing. The offender's mother axe murdered her father, and the offender was raised in the inner city.
Wow.
That's a lot to unpack, isn't it?
I'm gonna guess that happened probably while she was around 18.
While she had that
could be where her problems started.
Yeah, squeaky clean record until she hit adulthood at age 18. All of a sudden, kaboom. All right, let's look at the mental history. The offender is a cold manipulator and is obsessed with becoming a millionaire. Which, again, in 1984 money, a millionaire was a lot of money.
Yeah, I miss those days.
We all do. Inflation. All right. With that said, we've now looked at all the details of this crime. We are definitely going to review the known facts. Keep in mind that we cannot issue a death penalty sentence because of house rules. If anyone is in chat watching along, playing along on the stream or the VOD, now is an opportunity to write down what kind of sentence you would like to see, as well as a length of sentence. And with that, let's review the known facts. In the crime of presidential assassination, which Chat Rat does not like saying aloud, the property damage or loss was $85,000. The offender-victim relationship is defined by the crime. The victim was shot through the head. The offender is a 49-year-old Native American woman. The victim was a 56-year-old Native American male. The offender she did it for publicity. The offender is AWOL. The offender is a racist. Prior crimes include barroom brawls. The recorded priors are 12 arrests and 6 convictions, but in the offender's youth, she committed no crimes. The defendant gave the police information on other serious crimes. Public pressure group calls you weak. The offender's mother axe murdered her father, and the offender was raised in the inner city. The offender is a cold manipulator and is obsessed with becoming a millionaire. The offender is unmarried, drinks temperately, and is a self-taught person. As well, the offender is a menial laborer. That is the case of presidential assassination. Do we choose the death penalty? The answer is no. And I leave it... you know what? I've left it to the both of you in the last one. I think I'm actually going to tackle this one and see how you guys play along with me. Does that sound amenable?
All right.
Sounds great.
Fantastic. In the crime of presidential assassination, I think that she's definitely getting the death penalty. She's not getting the death penalty, but she might as well be. She's going to go away for minimum 35 years. In this game, I've seen minimum 35 years for this type of sentence. In this case, I don't think she has too many redeeming qualities. Almost to a point, every single instance that mentioned her was negative. The only positive thing she did was give up information on other serious crimes. That's the only positive thing. Now, with that said, in the eyes of the court, that's actually pretty good.
Minimi 96 said, 30 plus prison.
Jury foreman Mini-Me says 30 plus years of prison. I absolutely agree. I think that 35 years, I would go well above that. I would go into 40 and 42 years of prison. But she did give serious crime information on other serious crimes. So I'd be willing to lower that to 40 years of prison. My opening bid is 40 years of prison. Bailiff Andy, let's see how you think. What's your thoughts?
My inclination is also prison. I think there's definitely gotta be some trauma at play there. Like her mother was axe murdered.
Yeah.
And that, so I was leaning more towards 25 years.
All right. We have...
Because I do agree that she doesn't sound like a good person, but I feel the need for a little bit of leniency just because, one of her parents was axe murdered.
No, that's
and I feel like there's probably a lot more trauma where that came from, because you don't just up and axe murder your spouse one day out of nowhere.
No, that's an excellent point. There is definitely some history going on, which would most likely come into play. People don't emerge from those situations unscathed. 25 years of prison is what Bailiff Andy says. Bailiff Stormy, what are your thoughts?
Actually, 32 years.
Oh, we've got a range going on. What's your consideration for 32 years of prison there, Bailiff Stormy?
Well, it's presidential assassination.
I agree. In the eyes of this game, there is no more severe crime. This is the top crime of the game. So you're thinking 32 years.
Yep, I'm thinking 32 years.
Okay. I'm actually not willing to budge. I know I'm going to have to, but I still feel like 40 is justified. And I still agree with Bailiff Andy that there is generational trauma, as well as the fact that she did give serious crime information up. So, yeah, I can go lower than 40. I could probably go 35, and I would be hard-pressed to go below that. But I'm only one of three here. Bailiff Andy, would you be willing to haggle up from 25?
I could do 30.
So we have a hard 35 upper limit and a hard 30 lower limit. Bailiff Stormy, are you willing to haggle from 32?
I would haggle up to 35.
Why would you go higher and not lower? I'm curious.
Maybe I was being a little too soft.
Ooh. All right. So, Bailiff Andy, we're going to write down your 25 to 30 on a napkin.
Okay.
We're going to put in 35. Was that right, Stormy?
Yep, 35.
Okay. And we're going to put down my 40 plus on a napkin as well. Keeping in mind that Jury Foreman Mini-Me wrote and developed this game apparently because of the accuracy which Jury Foreman Mini-Me seems to have with every single case on this docket. Kudos to him. 30 plus years is what Jury Foreman Mini-Me has suggested. We're going to put that on a napkin as well. Let's take a look and see how we scored all across this contentious case. 32 years, 10 months. And our 4th Symmetrical Duck Award of the night.
Wow.
There we go.
Quack, 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 quack.
There we go. Once again, we're not going to play the music.
Stormy.
Yeah. Oh, I can't.
I apparently do deserve to get called soft, so, or weak, or whatever it was the media's saying about me.
Never trust the media. That's the ultimate rule of this game. Never trust anyone who works in the media. Let's take a look at how many gavels and what our score was for this crime. By the way, congratulations, Jury Foreman Mini-Me as well for calling it. Ten gavels. There should be no judge you can't match. You should be Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. Kudos and congratulations to everybody while I write down how we did. Huh.
Tethercat said gavels, 10, judicial IQ, 194.
What was that? Didn't quite catch that, Bailiff Andy.
The entire screen on my phone. I can also see the icon that you made me with the hat.
Yes. Yes, and it's a great icon. By the way, I did make you another one. I did, and I may have even have sent it to you, but I didn't see that you had quote unquote equipped it or not. Very briefly, I can throw it on screen and show what that looks like.
Okay, would you have sent that over Discord?
I would have sent it to Discord, yes, but here's what it looks like. Here's what I designed up for Bailiff Andy.
I think you did show me that.
Yeah, so...
I'm still learning Discord. So
exactly. So we're not worried about it.
Okay.
That'll be a thing that happens at some point, but it's not going to be right now. We're playing the game. We're having some fun. Okay, everyone. Let's do another hydration check, and then we'll see how we're doing for our next game. It is the top of the hour. Welcome aboard, anyone who's just joined into the stream. Hydration check.
Tethercat said hydration check.
Aha, nice, nice, nice. Now then, are we up for another case? Is anyone on board for some more crime and punishment? I'm on board.
I'll hang out for another one.
There you go. That's a spirit.
Could I switch over to just watching?
I don't see any problem with you wanting to do whatever you do. We are more than happy to have had you play along on stream, and if you're going to be contributing in the chat or not, it's your call. But yes, by all means, you go, and it's been pleasant having you aboard. Thanks for showing up, Bailiff Stormy.
You're very welcome. I'm so glad I showed up.
Mm-hmm.
Look at all the ducks we got.
Yeah, tons of ducks. Bailiff Stormy and Bailiff Andy.
From tonight?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And once again, you've contributed to one, if not two of them. So kudos to you, Bailiff Andy. Bailiff Andy, Bailiff Stormy, would you care to say goodbye to either of you, both of you?
Goodbye. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. Have a great night.
You too.
There we go. And that's Bailiff Stormy. We'll wait until she exits formally. Bailiff Andy, it sounded like that was the first time which you and her had actually played along together. Is that how I read that?
I think it might have been. But I think I've heard. I'm not sure though, because I thought I had heard like the name Stormy before. So.
Well, there's such a rotation of characters who come in and out of this game. Yeah, it's fun seeing who all shows up. I'm glad that you appeared tonight. It's great having you on board.
Thank you. I saw the icon, and a lot of the times when I see the icon, I'm kind of tired and zonked out for the night. So it's like, oh, I'm gonna hop on this time.
Well, we love having you here as always. That's not just me. Everyone in chat loves you too. All right. Are you up for the next case? Remember, it is how much and what kind of information. That is important. And I believe the current record for playing Crime and Punishment is 5 Symmetrical Duck Awards. We're currently at 4 on the night.
Oh, maybe we can beat that then.
I know. That's exciting, isn't it? We're getting better at the game. That's what that means. Well, let's take a look at the next case. And the next case is the crime of cocaine sale.
Sanix Draven said I get to sit in the jury box with Minime.
There you go. Sanix Draven is...
Tethercat said crime, cocaine sale.
Now, it's interesting that Bailiff Stormy has left.
Minimi 96 said, hey Sanix, how are you?
But Sanix Draven has entered the chat. Try not to read too far into that, everybody. Try not to read too far into that. All right, everyone. The crime is cocaine sale. And I have to admit, I don't know that I've ever seen this one come up before. So this could be an interesting one for all of us. Let's look at the details of this crime. And we're going to look at the demographics. The offender is a 59-year-old white Catholic male. The victims are the state and the people. The offender-victim relationship. The offender didn't think anyone would be hurt when he sold cocaine. I find that difficult to believe. My skepticism has just spiked. Let's look at the weapon used in the physical injury. There was no personal injury, and we'll throw a little asterisk beside that.
So he was kind of right.
So he was kind of right, yes. Yes, he was.
He didn't think anyone would get hurt, and from the sounds of it, nobody got hurt.
That's it. 1 month probation. Crime of cocaine sale, 1 month probation.
Minimi 96 said lies.
Yes.
Not a game for anarchists.
Yes. Jury foreman Mini-Me lies. I fully agree with that. And yes, this is not a game for anarchists. Or the soft, which both you and I are. The property damage or loss was $1.6 million. We're hitting all these high-profile cases tonight.
How do you do $1.6 million worth of damage selling cocaine?
Sanix Draven said hug to Minime.
And how do you do that much damage selling cocaine and not think anyone would be hurt? Oh, I didn't think anyone would be hurt. I don't know. It's only $1.6 million of cocaine in the 80s. No one's going to get hurt.
My mind, is wrapping around that. Did they blow it into the HVAC of a major skyscraper?
Minimi 96 said Sanix.
That's exactly it.
Nobody got hurt. Everybody had a real good time.
Man, it's like WKRP Mr. Carlson with the foot powder, and he's seeing monkeys. All right, let's look at the excuse given for this crime. The offender said he needed money to support a drug habit. Well, if you're gonna do it, go big or go home, I suppose.
Oh shit, where you eat, dude? I was like, sorry, can I swear on here?
You can swear on here, and that was a fantastic quote. Don't shit where you eat, dude.
You gotta include dude in there.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
It's the 80s. The offender's criminal record. We might as well take a look. Oh, by the way, how the details of the crime. How old was this guy? This guy's 59 years old. This guy's up there. 59 years old. And we're going to look at the adult prior crime types. Specific crime type of information is unavailable, which in previous games tonight has led to the red flag of crashing. Hopefully that doesn't happen on this case. The prior arrests and convictions. None and none. This guy is squeaky clean. Like a mirror.
The mirror he used to do cocaine off of.
I'm just saying. Squeaky clean. Like he...
I explained the joke, sorry.
Like he wiped his nose with that mirror. That's how clean this is. And... yes, you explained the joke, but it's all good. The fugitive status on the day of the crime is that the offender, oh, surprise, surprise, left an alcohol detoxification program. I would not have considered that to be an option. Now, let's take a look at the offender's reputation on this one. Oh, what do you know? He's a political extremist in 1984. I mean, all the other rest of the case fits a perfectly slotted narrative. This one here, it's not outside the realm of possibility.
I'm wondering if his cause is like decriminalization.
There you go. That's his extremist cause, decriminalization of hard drugs.
Here, I'll prove they're harmless by blowing them into this HVAC system.
Look, I'll prove they're harmless. Do you mind if I take this mirror off the wall? This full-length body mirror off the wall? I'm gonna provide a demonstration here. And also, yeah, the HVAC system. He's 59 years old. Do you want to look at his juvenile court blotter? I don't really think we need to.
No? I'm curious.
You know what? Yeah. You know what? I'm kind of curious. Yeah, I gotta admit, if it's like, as a juvenile, he was charged with cocaine possession. Okay, anyway, juvenile court blotter. Yeah, none. But then again, his prior arrests and convictions was also none. Age 59, he suddenly decided, I'm going to sell 1.
Maybe he's a patsy.
It's possible. He hasn't.
Maybe he's an unwitting mule.
Now that's actually a pretty good narrative. $1.6 million and an unwitting mule. Let's look at the pre-sentence report. This is a crazy case. And we're going to look at his personal details. This 59-year-old squeaky mirror clean individual. I went to his employment history. Apparently he's a psychiatrist, which that's mind-blowing. And there's a pun in there, I might add. There sure is. His personal details. He's 59 years old. He's soon to be wed. He shoots dope. Oh, this just gets better. So now it's not just alcohol. It's not just cocaine, but now he's also shooting heroin. He's a law school applicant.
This is the craziest midlife crisis I've ever seen.
It is definitely a midlife crisis.
BastionBrave said he wasn't caught until later in life.
That's why he's so squeaky clean, like a mirror. He wasn't caught until later in life. His employment history is that he's a psychiatrist. And a law school applicant. This guy knows a lot about the judicial system, the mental system. I don't even know what this guy knows a lot of, but he's no stupid guy.
Let's find out about his upbringing.
All right, we're gonna find out about the offender's upbringing. The offender's father had a sex change, and the offender was raised in suburbia. Well, I mean, for the 80s, it was that era of timeline. I do want to look at the courtroom prosecution details, and then we're definitely looking at the mental history.
Hell yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. The courtroom prosecution details. The defendant was convicted by a jury. There wasn't even a doubt. They were just like, yeah, he's guilty. Yep. Full stamp. Send him away. A TV reporter predicts that you, the player, will imprison the defendant because TV reporters are smart. Let's look at this mental history. The offender is abnormally suspicious. He tapes all conversations. And considering he's a therapist, no, a psychiatrist, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Shall we review the known facts on this crazy case?
I believe we should.
All right, we're going to look at the clipboard of justice in a moment. Once again, everyone who's playing along in chat, God rest your souls. Now's a good time to enter in your sentence and length of sentence. Pardon me while I just switch that background music soundtrack. And here we go, everybody. The clipboard of justice. The crime is cocaine sale. Property damage or loss was $1.6 million. The offender didn't think anyone would be hurt. There was no personal injury. The offender is a 59-year-old male. The victims are the state and the people. The offender said he needed money to support a drug habit. The offender left an alcohol detoxification program. The offender is a political extremist. Although specific crime type of information is unavailable, as an adult, he has had 0 recorded prior arrests and 0 recorded prior convictions. In his youth, the offender had no juvenile court record. The defendant was convicted by a jury. A TV reporter predicted that you, the player, will imprison the defendant. The offender's father had a sex change, and the offender was raised in suburbia.
Minimi 96 said again, seriously expensive.
That's right, jury foreman Minimi. The offender is abnormally suspicious. He tapes all conversations. The offender is soon to be wed, shoots dope, is a law school applicant, and the offender is a psychiatrist. And there you have it, Bailiff Andy, the crime of cocaine sale, which I've never seen before in this game.
No.
This is a new one to me. Do you want to go first, or shall I?
I'm saying prison just because that's an insane amount of property damage.
Yes.
And
yes.
I still can't understand how that even happens.
Well, remember, that one there is property damage or loss. So it's not necessarily property damage per se to buildings or structures, but it could be loss from financial status or wallet.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's all that one is.
I am thinking somewhere between 12 and a half to 15 years.
All right, so somewhere between 12 and a half to 15 years. And any justification why you're not going 5 years, why you're not going 20 years, why 12 and a half to 15?
Partly because, yeah, the just insane amount of like property damage / loss. And also, this guy sounds unhinged.
Yes.
Like, he sounds like he's just getting started. Like, he's a real potential, like, menace.
Guy's a powder keg.
I see what you did there.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I'm here all night. It's the bow tie. Yeah. I fully agree. this guy has had a relatively clean record, and then all of a sudden some switch got flipped, and now, or as SanixDraven says in chat, he wasn't caught until later in life. He could have been doing this for a long time, but he wasn't caught until later in life.
Yeah, that's the other possibility that's the other possibility, which is why I didn't go for a lighter sentence, because
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think that this is a first time offense.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like he knew what he was doing and he did it well. Okay, so 12 and a half to 15 years. I'd be willing to go 15 and maybe even higher. The asterisk in this was that no one was injured, but come on. $1.6 million. As well, I think that there was personal damage and injury to himself. He's in a detoxification program. He shoots dope. He admitted that he needed money for a drug habit. Everything says this guy needs to be put behind bars just for self-help.
Also, his patients.
Yes.
If he's a psychiatrist, like, I don't think I'd trust this guy as a psychiatrist. I think if we could add extra things, I'd want to pull his license too.
Oh, there you go. Well,
I'm cool with going with 15.
All right.
To the upper end of that.
Well, the upper end of that,
because there's no injury, but
I'd be willing to say that in the eyes of 1984, cocaine sale was a hard drug crime. And so to get it off the streets, I would say that 25 years of prison.
Minimi96 said, I'll go 12 or a bit less just to be safe.
Whoa,
I don't know.
Minimi96, our jury foreman is actually bidding low, saying 12 or less. Interesting. But he says he's just playing it safe. I'm willing to go up to 25. I think it's a hard crime. I think it's I don't think that this individual has rehabilitation in him at all. And I think that what he needs more than anything is incarceration until he can receive the help that he needs. Until then, just as you pointed out, he's a threat to a lot of people.
That said, he did just get out of a detox program. So maybe he's already starting to, like, it doesn't really say whether he detoxed before or after this crime was committed.
No, you're right.
He's already trying to rehabilitate himself.
Oh, that is an excellent point.
Minimi96 said, oh wait, I forgot about the $1 million.
Yeah. See, there's so many facets to this case. Both of you have just raised an excellent point. He did come out of a drug detoxification program, which, if he has had no recorded prior arrests and no recorded prior convictions, he went in there willingly. He wasn't mandated by the court. That was on his own volition. He could be attempting rehabilitation on his own. That is actually worthy. Interesting. Then I retract my 25-year sentence offering. You said 12 years, 6 months, and maybe an upper limit of 15 years.
Yeah.
Jury foreman Mini-Me said 12 or a bit less. Now, jury foreman Mini-Me does raise the point that it is $1.6 million of hard cocaine. And yes, I agree with that. You had an upper limit of 15. I'd be willing to go for 12.6. I think he showed rehabilitation, and that is admirable in the eyes of the court. I was absolutely mistaken. I thought this guy was beyond redemption, but yeah, excellent perception there, Bailiff Andy. Shall we go with 12.6? Are you comfortable with that, or would you like to amend it?
I am good with that.
My. 12.6. Bailiff Andy has shed an amazing amount of light on this case. Let's see how we do. I'm insanely curious about how this is going to play out. Prison 6 years.
Minimi96 said, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
Gesundheit. It was undercut by all of us. Prison 6 years, 7
I
months.
I overcorrected after that last case.
Yeah, why? What would you have honestly gone for? Were you looking for a lot lower, were you? Because remember...
No, I was actually thinking 12.
Okay, because again, jury foreman mini-me also said 12. I was thinking a lot higher, but I'd be willing to go down to 12. So I maintain 12-6 is a good call. Not good enough for this game. Let's see how he scored. Well, we still got 5 gavels. Keep practicing. This isn't small claims court, not at $1.6 million.
No duck, though.
Not yet. Gavels, 5. 162.
Tethercat said gavels, 5, judicial IQ, 162.
And with that said, it's now getting into the bottom of the hour. I invited a lot of people. I spread the word, and I apologize. I didn't spread the word to you, Bailiff Andy, but I am so glad that you appeared. I'm ecstatic that you appeared.
No problem. I'm glad I could make it.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Minimi96 said, well, I did say a bit lower, if it wasn't for the millions of dollars.
Yeah, and I think the millions of dollars did play into it there, jury foreman mini-me. I honestly, I don't think anyone else is going to show up, but then again, people might. So I'm around till the top of the hour, which is roughly my bedtime. Bailiff Andy, what are your thoughts?
If you're in for one more, I'll do one more.
I'm in for more than one more, but we can definitely do one more. And hopefully we'll get you,
one more.
We'll hopefully get for you a Symmetrical Duck Award. Now it's time for the next case. Remember, everyone, it's how much and what kind of information. That is important. Nope, that's a sensitive one.
SanixDraven said, I'm still here.
Excellent. We still got SanixDraven in the chat room, as well as Jury Foreman mini-me and everyone else who's just logging in, taking a look, and logging it. Not a problem. Once again, we're flying past any sensitive cases we come across here, until we land on a case which is adequate. This is the crime of resisting arrest.
Let's do this.
Tethercat said crime, resisting arrest.
Fantastic. And we're going to take a look at the details of this crime. And we're going to look at the demographics. The offender is an 18-year-old black Catholic male. The victims are the state and the people. The crime is resisting arrest, and because of the age of the offender, 18 years old, we will most likely be looking at the juvenile record. It depends how severe this crime of resisting arrest is. So, the offender is an 18-year-old male. The victims are the state and the people. The offender-victim relationship, generally resisting arrest, is a victimless crime. Yeah. The weapon used, physical injury, none. Property damage or loss, none. And the excuse given why he resisted arrest, he said he was upset at his mother's death. My. Well, now, by saying he was upset at his mother's death, he did admit it. He's not claiming innocence. He owned up. But at least his excuse is somewhat valid. Let's take a look at the offender's criminal record. Remember, he is 18 years old and being tried as an adult. His adult prior crime types include sex offenses. Buddy, what are you doing? Prior arrests and convictions. Keeping in mind, he's 18.
That's plural. I don't like that that's plural.
That's correct. It's plural. Keeping in mind that he is either 18 years old and 1 month or 18 years old and 365 days. We're not sure, but let's take a look at his adult.
SanixDraven said that is a valid excuse.
Yes, it is. Let's take a look at his adult prior arrests and convictions. As an adult, whether he is 18 years old and 1 day old or 18 and 364 days old, he has had 4 recorded prior convictions leading to 4 recorded prior convictions, of which some have included sex offenses. At age 18, 4 recorded prior convictions as an adult. Well, he's resisting arrest in more than one way. He's resisting arrest, and he claims he was upset at his mother's death. Are you interested in looking at his juvenile court blotter? I am.
Oh, yeah. Oh, very much so.
Very much so. As a juvenile, the offender's offenses included curfew violations. Well, rather innocuous. The fugitive status on the day of the crime is that he's awaiting sentence in another case. Well, of course, he's only 18. Can only fit so many cases in a year.
Yeah.
The offender's reputation. He is a common thug. Well, this could have been a nothing case, but now it's a something case. And we're going to look at the pre-sentence report. Keeping in mind, this guy's only 18 years old. The personal details is that he is judicially separate. He's in a relationship and he's separated at 18 judicially? Jeez. He doesn't drink and he has a scholarship. Someone actually sees some sort of merit in this guy. His employment history, he has no job skills. No. The courtroom prosecution details, the defendant was held in contempt of court. Why does this not surprise me? However, priests speak out on the defendant's behalf. Oddly, that...
So many things I could say.
Yeah, well, okay. I think I know exactly what your intonation was with that comment, but on the comment that he was grieving his mother's death, that is a valid explanation why the priest would speak out on his behalf. That's the only valid reason I can plausibly come up with. Is that
that's fair.
That wasn't even a lie. He actually was grieving his mother's death. It doesn't excuse any of what he's done. And it's one possibility why priests would speak out on his behalf. Although he was absolutely held in contempt of court.
I'm incredibly cynical.
As am I. Now, offender's upbringing and mental history, I believe we should absolutely look at both of these.
Definitely.
The offender's upbringing. The offender's parents are unknown, and the offender is from the Midwest.
If you're from the Midwest, throw the book at him.
I don't even know what that comment means.
Honestly, it means that no matter what geographic location they said, I was going to make that. I was going to say that anyway.
So the offender is from California. Well, just look at him. Well, the offender is from Alaska. Just look at him.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
I got you. Okay. His mental history. The offender is anorexic. He won't eat, and he is constantly dieting. Huh. So he's got his fair share of issues. That doesn't explain anything. It just, it's further details. And with that said, I believe we shall review through the clipboard of justice. Once again, everyone who's watching in chat, whether you're playing along live or even on the VOD, this is your opportunity to enter in to the chat your sentence and length of sentence that you would suggest. Resisting arrest is the crime. There was no monetary loss. Generally, resisting arrest is a victimless crime. There was no personal injury. The offender is an 18-year-old male. The victims are the state and the people. The offender said he was upset at his mother's death. The offender is awaiting a sentence in another case. The offender is a common thug. Prior crimes include sex offenses. He has had 4 recorded prior arrests and 4 recorded prior convictions, tried as an adult at the age of 18. The offender's juvenile offenses include curfew violations. The defendant was held in contempt of court. Priests speak out on the defendant's behalf. The offender's parents are unknown. The offender is from the Midwest. Just look at him. The offender is anorexic, won't eat, and is constantly dieting. The offender is judicially separated, doesn't drink, and has a scholarship. As well, the offender has no job skills. Well, this guy's all over the map. Except Midwest. I My primary question, as with anything, is rehabilitation an option? He's 18. He's been...
Sanix Draven said you can only judge him on the resistance.
That's absolutely correct. We're only judging him.
That was my question too.
Yeah.
Is like going solely on like the resisting arrest.
Yes.
I'd be inclined to go jail or probation.
Okay. So
because that, like, in a vacuum, that's a very, very small crime.
absolutely. Both
With the context of all this other stuff, it's kind of...
I fully agree, and both yourself and Sanix Draven in chat have raised a very valid point on the topic of solely resisting arrest. It's generally a victimless crime. It's incredibly minor. The only thing we can really nail him on is the contempt of court.
Yeah, which in that case, since he already has contempt of court,
yeah,
I'd be inclined to give him jail time, like. But I'm hard pressed to say how long.
If it's in a vacuum, solely on resisting arrest, I would say probably 3 months of jail. Added to the contempt of court, I would bump that up to 6 months of jail. That would be, in a vacuum, my suggestion. And I hate it because I want to put this guy away to prison and hope that he's rehabilitated there. Or jail. Prison does seem harsh for an 18-year-old. And you can't do it just for resisting.
If we went for prison, I'd say like 1 to 2 years tops.
Yeah, but for...
I think 6 months in jail.
Yeah, we can't do prison. We cannot do prison. Not on resisting arrest.
No.
So...
Like, I feel like he does deserve to be in prison, but not for this specific charge.
I agree. Fully agree. So, I was going to offer up 6 months of jail. What are your thoughts? Keeping in mind, once again, victimless crime, but he was in contempt of court.
Even 6, like, again, looking at the one charge on its own, 6 months still feels like a long time. I'd be willing to go as low as 3 months.
No, that's fine.
Like 90 days. 90 days sounds like something somebody would get for
resisting arrest?
Yeah.
And once again, Priest did speak out on his behalf, and he did claim that it was grieving his mother's death. So there could be circumstances.
He's having some mental stuff with the...
Yeah. Wait. If his parents are unknown, how is he grieving his mother's death?
Oh. Maybe he just recently found out that he had a mom and that she was dead. I don't know.
Or, and here's another narrative, he says, I'm grieving my parents' death, and priests pick up on that, and they're like, oh no, this poor child, you gotta be lenient on him, we love him. So priests believe that he's repenting because of his mother's death. Meanwhile, facts of the case emerge during this trial that he has no parents, they're unknown. So priests speak out on his behalf, unbeknownst to the fact that he doesn't know who his parents are. It's a bald-faced lie.
Huh. That would incline me to bump that back up to 6 months, please.
Sounds good. I'm on board with that. So
now here's another thing.
Yes.
It said, I know I pointed out that sex crimes was plural.
Yes.
But what if, given his age, what if there was only one charge and it was something like statutory,
Right,
like
right,
in
right.
a case where he had like an angry, somebody else's angry parents came after him, and it was in a state without a Romeo and Juliet law.
I'm impressed. Please, genuinely impressed.
Minimi 96 said, 6 to 9 months, also cause the offense too, which I will not stand for.
Jury foreman Mini-Me laying down the law 6 to 9 months is his suggestion. Following your train of thought there, Bailiff Andy, is 6 months still valid, or would you go higher?
I think 6 months is still valid. I just wanted to throw that out there as a thought exercise.
It's a good thought exercise. It's
Because we hear sex crimes and like everybody knee jerks because that's horrible, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there are things that will get people registered as a sex offender that are not necessarily like you can pee in a public park and get registered as a sex offender for indecent exposure.
Yeah.
Right? Like this where this game leaves out a lot of details that like would give a lot of context, and it's kind of fun to fill in the blanks.
Yeah, it's fun to create the narrative, but we can't go outside of what the facts are in essence. So we don't know what those statutory potential crimes are. We just know that there's 4 of them, 4 arrests, 4 convictions, and some of those involved a plurality. Let's cut that conversation shy, and 6 months seems to be the common theme between everyone. Does that still sound good to you?
Yeah, it still sounds good to me. I did have one more thought. Again.
Is it going to change the is it going to change the amount of time on the case?
No.
Okay,
I'll leave it. Maybe we can get into it afterwards, but
I'm curious. I am curious about it, but I do want to wrap this up. So, fire away with your thought, but keep her quick.
Okay, I was going to say too. Okay, so he's got no parents.
Right.
He's a common thug. He doesn't eat much. Is it possible that some of these charges may have been for things like vagrancy or solicitation and stuff like that?
Yeah. That's a valid question, but we don't know the true answer to that. Yeah.
So I'm writing backstories.
Yeah. and we do have to deal with just what we've got handed to us on this platter. It's all good. All right. With that said, we're going to fire away on 6 months, and we're going to see how we do. Survey says jail 2 years. 2 years of jail.
Oh, wow. I feel like maybe the judge was letting the other charges out of judgment.
Yeah, that was 2 years of jail versus our 6 months of jail. Well, I mean, maybe the contempt of court hit a bit harder. Who knows? Anyways, yeah, let's see what our score is. I don't think it's going to be too good. Yeah, I kind of called that.
No, I think I'm dragging the curve down.
I don't think you are. Remember, you showed up and
we were doing a lot better when Story was here.
No, we got the full complement here. You, Stormy, Jury Foreman, Mini-Me, and myself.
96 said it has to be the offense.
God, I feel bad
That's
now.
why.
I got the name wrong.
It's all good. It's all good.
Tethercat said gavels. 1. Judicial IQ. 86.
I still think that you're a valid contribution. Remember, when you did show up, you were the one who got the first 10 gavels of the game. So, yeah. Not the first 10 gavels of the game, just... That was remarkable that you entered in and did great.
I do maintain this not a game for anarchists.
I maintain that as well.
Let everybody go. ACAB.
ACAB. What's that? A Genesis album? Okay, so It's a quarter to the top of the hour. We're going to play to the top of the hour, unless some reason it gets extended. Are you willing for one more case? Are you in for one more case?
All right, I'll go for one more case.
That's fantastic. Bailiff Andy is in for one more case, and that means that all of us are in for at least one more case as well. With that said, I'm going to do a final hydration check. So please, everyone, go and take a slug of water.
Tethercat said hydration check. Sanix Draven said I liked meeting you,
Yeah,
Andy.
just caught the time, yeah.
Yeah. And with that said, we're going to fire into our next case. By the way, Sanix Draven left you a message there in the chat if you haven't seen it.
Oh, it was nice meeting you as well.
Yeah. All right, now it's time for our next case. Remember, it is how much and what kind of information that is important. The defendant is to be sentenced for the crime of forgery. And let me guess.
Tethercat said crime, forgery.
I'm pretty sure Mini-Me, Jury Foreman Mini-Me is on the same wavelength as I am. This is going to be for $1.5 million, isn't it? All the cases tonight have been so stupidly overpriced. All right. The details of this crime. Crime of forgery. The demographics. The offender is a 26-year-old white Mormon male. The victims are the state and the people. The offender-victim relationship. The offender said that the victims were only those who asked for forgery to occur. Because reasons, which we'll obviously get into. The weapon used physical injury was none. However, the property damage or loss, drum roll please, $1.4 million.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's that kind of a night, everybody. And the excuse given for this crime by this individual, he said the devil made him do it.
Is there a devil in Mormonism?
I don't know. I'd have to go and rewatch South Park. The 26-year-old white Mormon male says the devil made him do it. $1.4 million.
Sanix Draven said you called it.
I did call it, didn't I? $1.4 million in forgery because those people asked for it. Let's take a look at the offender's criminal record. And this 26-year-old male's adult prior crime types included committing property crimes. The recorded prior arrests and convictions as an adult. He's had 4 recorded prior arrests with 2 recorded prior convictions. His fugitive status on the day of the crime, he's wanted for child support. Well,
This guy's small potatoes.
small potatoes. That's the offender's reputation. I don't know what his reputation is. The offender's reputation, offender is sexy.
Sexy. That's why he's got to fail at child support. He's a little too sexy.
He's a little too sexy. He's 26. Do we need to look at his juvenile court blotter? That's up to you. I don't see a need for it.
I'm curious.
All right. Well, it is $1.4 million in forgery. The offender's juvenile court blotter states offenses include public nudity.
Yeah, he's too sexy.
He's too sexy. The forgery he was doing were paintings of his naked self. And he was forging them.
I like the fact that he was forging them implies that somebody else like painted them originally.
Yeah, made him even sexier. It doesn't need to be that like it's not a garden hose. You can shorten that. Thanks a lot.
All right.
Also, stop painting me in a public park. This is public nudity. I have to be there for my 5 o'clock for the next art piece. All right. So, That's the details of the crime. That's the offender's criminal record. Let's take a look at the pre-sentence report for our sexy forger. The personal details. He's 26 years old and sexy. The offender is honeymooning. Congratulations. He's still paying child support. He stays as sober as a judge. Hick. And he is a college freshman. Interesting.
So he's 26, so that implies that, okay, he's not necessarily been married twice.
Right.
Okay, I'm trying to wrap my head around that.
Okay.
Because if he's paying child support, that means he's been in a long enough relationship prior to his marriage
Yeah, most likely, yeah.
to be paying support. But I guess he's 26, so
I mean, in his defense, he is sexy.
too sexy.
Too sexy. His employment history, this 26-year-old's employment history is that he's a self-employed professional. Professional what? We're not certain. He's too sexy for this courtroom. Dun, 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 dun. I know you were thinking it. You didn't say it, but I know you were thinking it.
It's been running through my mind. I'm flipping back and forth between that and Just the Gigolo.
Ooh, right said Fred or David Lee Roth, a battle of the ages. Actually, hold on a sec. I want to do something here. Hold on a
My
sec.
next karaoke night's planned.
I need to. I'm gonna start a poll. Who did it better? And we're gonna do right said Fred, and we're gonna do David Lee Roth. Start the poll. There we go.
You ever heard the original Louis Prima?
I have David Lee
version of
Roth.
Just the Gigolo?
I have David Lee Roth. Louis Prima does not factor in. It's 1984.
Fair. Okay, yes. 1984. We can only go with David Lee Roth.
Yeah.
My mistake.
There you go. Louis Prima. You're old. Okay. The courtroom prosecution details. Rein it in there, old timer. We got a sexy forger here. The evidence showed that the defendant was easily led by his friends to do forgery of $1.4 million. The defendant was defended by a legal aid attorney. The offender's upbringing and mental history. He's 26. Do you think any of these qualify? Would you care to see any of these?
I don't know how they're relevant.
I honestly don't think any of them are relevant. What's that?
The employment history, I think we should see.
Well, we've already seen it, and he's a self-employed professional, yeah.
And personal details is just his age and stuff.
Yeah, honeymooning, sober as a judge. He's in college. Sexy college. All right. It sounds like we've gone through everything, so I think we should review the known facts. And once again, everyone who's playing along in chat, by the way, we have for the poll, we currently are sitting at David Lee Roth with Just a Gigolo for 100%. Poll's not closed yet. Let's review the known facts on the clipboard of justice. In the crime of forgery, the property damage or loss was $1.4 million. The offender said that the victims were only those who asked for it. There was no personal injury. The offender is a 26-year-old white Mormon male. The victims are the state and the people. The offender said the devil made him do it. The offender is wanted for child support. The offender is sexy. The offender has also committed property crimes. The offender's juvenile offenses include public nudity. He has had, as an adult, 4 recorded prior arrests and 2 recorded prior convictions. Evidence showed that the defendant was easily led by his friends. The defendant was defended by a legal aid attorney. The offender is honeymooning. Congratulations. He stays as sober as a judge. He is a college freshman, and the offender is a self-employed professional. And that's the case of forgery. Bailiff Andy, what are your thoughts on a potential sentence and length of sentence?
I am inclined to say prison for 10 years.
Okay, we have an opening bid of 10 years of prison. Is there reasoning behind your thoughts on that?
So, to me, it sounds like he's kind of getting on the up and up. If he can get away from his, I'm thinking that some of those charges may have been like mischief stuff and that, and if he can get away from his friends, like maybe this new wife of his will be a good influence on him.
Hmm.
And he'll start making better decisions, but at the same time, $1.4 million.
Right.
Right? So like I can't see not having prison time for that amount of like damage and loss.
Yeah.
But he sounds like he could be rehabilitated.
Yeah.
And sexy.
Well, we know he's at least one of the two. And I'm sure that the other prison inmates will also discover that.
Yeah.
My thoughts on the case are that rehabilitation is an option. And so whatever length of sentence we provide to him in prison, which again, I agree with you, 10 years of prison, he could get out with time on good behavior. And if he really is on that up and up path towards a better life, then I don't see him serving the actual 10 years of prison time. But I agree. $1.4 million. Forgery is a federal crime. So, yeah. Sexy or not, 10 years of prison sounds good to me.
Great.
For everyone who's and we've closed the poll, by the way. The poll states that David Lee Roth scored with Just a Gigolo. That's the theme song for this case. Let's go with 10 years of prison, and we'll see how he did. 1 year, 11 months of prison, says the judge, who is clearly overtaken by the offender's sexy looks. The offender, in the process of the case, the defendant made a pouty face. 1 year, 11 months.
The judge finds the defendant naughty.
Naughty.
I stole that from a online thing, but it made me think of that.
Excellent. I find the defendant guilty of being sexy. Well, we didn't score too well on this case, but the defendant...
Minimi 96 said rigged.
Rigged. Yeah. Yeah.
I think so too.
Yeah, I think so too. Well, let's see how badly it's rigged. Let's see our score. That's one gavel of sexiness given by that judge.
Slightly better than my last round. I got 6 more points. 6 more IQ points.
Yeah,
Tethercat said gavels, 1, judicial IQ, 75.
That media called me weak.
Yeah, the media calls you weak and you fold like an origami crane.
Which is not disproving their point. By any means.
By any means. Well, we're now at the top of the hour. I would not begrudge you if you wanted to take off. I do thank you for playing along with the cases that you were instrumental in being a part of. Thank you very much.
Thanks. I'm glad I was able to join in.
I'm glad you were too. Bailiff Andy, frequent bailiff within the Crime and Punishment streams on this channel. We look forward to seeing you again at any of the future dates that you so choose to join in. And if we don't see you, have yourself a good remainder of 2024 and an excellent holiday season.
You as well.
Oh,
We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Talk to you soon. Take care. Sleep well.
You too.
All right. And with that, it is the top of the hour, and I'm not certain how much longer I am going to play. I was hoping I could see if there was anyone else who was going to join in. It is the top of the hour. It is my bedtime. I honestly don't think anyone's going to show up at this point. I think we're done. Yeah, you know what? I'm done. I've had my fun. We've had some great laughs. It's been an excellent stream. So we've had a poll which states that just a gigolo is definitely the running theme of this game. At this point, I'm babbling. Everyone, thank you so much for showing up. Thank you for playing along. Thanks for being a part of the stream. We're gonna conclude the stream now. As always, I'm so happy whenever anyone can get together and play along with this game. And we've had some fantastic cases of money tonight, haven't we? Everyone, I appreciate all the time.
Minimi96 said thanks for the stream. It was a lot of fun. Have a good night and much love.
Absolutely. Greed with your pink waving hand.
Greed 1914 said hand pink waving.
That was close. It's been great. This will be the final stream of the year for me. I'm not going to play tomorrow night, being New Year's Eve. I'm going to drive down to a nearby city and watch a fireworks display. That's my plan. Going to grab a slice of pizza, which is my traditional New Year's Eve meal of choice, and I'm going to grab some pizza, drive down to the nearby city, watch a fireworks display over the open water. I hope all of you have an excellent declination to your 2024 and an excellent entrance to your 2025. Thanks for being a part of this stream. Thanks for being a part of this channel. And as always, everybody, thanks for watching. Have a good night.
Hello, folks. You know, I've been picking and trying to pick up banjos for 40 years or more. I used to just play the imitations, but now I'm going to give you a little of the variations of Casey Jones.
Tethercat said thanks for watching. Tethercat said Happy New Year. Tethercat said _carrot.
Gentlemen, now folks, I'm going to give you a little of Old Dan Tucker, containing more heterogeneous constant policy, double flavor and unknown quality than usual. Frying pan, a cone his head with the wagon wheel, died the toothache in his heel. Got away old Dan Tucker, he come too late to get your supper. Tucker was a hard-ridden sinner, never said grace over his dinner. The old hog squealed, the pig did squall, him whole hog with tail and all. By the way, old Dan Tucker, he come too late to get your supper. Old Tom Wilson got on a drunk, fell in the fire and kicked up a chunk. Charcoal got inside the shoe. Lord bless you, honey, how the ashes flew. By the way, old Dan Tucker, he come too late to get your supper. Here's the booze and Choctaw cider, lemon extract, and old Budweiser horse said it's bitter, and the doctor's tonic. The good book said a little good for the stomach.